I'd like to talk about what happens to a man's sense of reality, how it gets warped after every successive failed relationship where he keeps getting it wrong. He's told he's getting it wrong, and he believes he's getting it wrong because he's failed. Just think about what that does to a man going forward. And then after a while, when he can't seem to get it right, whatever he does, and when everything else in his life makes more and more sense as he gets older, except for women, what do you think he gives up on? Well, in short, the thing that keeps warping his reality. In my last video, I talked about how hopeless men are at reading women's supposed signs. Most of the time, they don't even send them, so much so that when other women watch videos of women sending out their signals, they can't pick them up themselves. So what chance do men have? And I was thinking about how it warps a guy's sense of reality time after time when he fails at doing something that's supposedly supposed to be easy to see, except for you dummy. What it does for his ability to trust his own judgments. And then to make sense of his world, he'll focus on things that do make sense to his judgment and do adhere to reality, where his sense of reality isn't warped. It's funny that when it comes to today's romantic relationships, that tends to make a man doubt his own judgment, his own cognition, his own choices, his own decisions. Even if he's actually doing what he's told, even if he's jumping through the hoops he's told to jump through, even if he's told to be a nice guy, he's following the script to a T, somehow it's upside down. After a while, a man sort of realizes that in that situation, it's either down to luck or he's just awful at playing the game and better to give up and give attention to the side of his life that does make sense, that doesn't make him doubt his reality, that makes him confident in his judgments, where 2 + 2 = 4. It's funny when I see these men watching female dating coaches giving advice of when a woman says this, she means this, or when a woman displays this, she's meaning this. All these mixed signals where yes means no means maybe is frankly hypocritical coming from the half of the species that complains to men that we don't communicate. The way I see it is if something's important to your life, you take it seriously. Otherwise, others won't. How can you expect them to? As you pass the halfway point of your life and time becomes precious, you don't have time to waste on unsolvable female puzzles anymore. A friend told me an analogy once that dating women today is like dating them in an Inception world where everything's warping, dreams within dreams. If women keep relying on men to read their signals, women aren't direct on exactly knowing what they want. You still see it on dating sites. They either don't write anything, they don't like being asked, what are you looking for? They want to stay vague because their monkey branching instinct doesn't want to lose out. Depending on the guy in front of them, they might be open to something casual or they might be wanting to get married. And sometimes women's ambiguity and evasiveness and supposed signals they're sending are actually the opposite of what they're wanting. But they want to be so indirect to have some sort of plausible deniability that they go about it in a very convoluted way. As an example, I remember one ex saying to me, "Oh, can you believe my ex-boyfriend wanted to have a threesome with me and another woman?" And later I found out it was actually her wanting to see how I'd react to that story because it was actually something she wanted as a fantasy. But she made up as though her ex wanted the fantasy just to gauge my judgment whether I would think it would be crazy or I would chuckle and think it's kind of sexy. But this kind of avoiding responsibility in a convoluted story to gauge the reaction of the guy and then you'll decide where you stand. It's worse than being evasive. It's actually obtuse. Most of the time, I think women aren't openly honest or even showing up as themselves on dates. They're being silent, reading the guy if they like them, and then just mirroring him, or being vague and effectively just hiding and seeing if they can covertly stay in the relationship as they allow themselves over time, once you're in a relationship, to come out of their shell. Gentlemen, don't spend any more time than you have to with these evasive, signal-sending, aloof, quiet women where you don't know what they stand for. They don't want to talk about their past, their exes, their beliefs, their values. And if you date, force the woman sitting across from you to open up, to be honest. If she doesn't want to, then let the boys and bad boys use and abuse them. She shouldn't be your problem, not if you want an honest and whole person. Let cats put up with these women, not you. Imagine stumbling into a relationship or marrying this type of vague, game-playing, aloof, mind-reading female. What do you imagine your grasp on reality will be like growing old with this person, walking on eggshells? What do you imagine your cortisol levels will be like? Skyrocketing, your health, your blood pressure, heart disease, your hair falling out, always looking 10 to 20 years older than what you actually are, needing to spend more and more time away from her in the shed in the backyard because that's about the only place where reality makes sense on your own. I'd be interested to know your thoughts, gentlemen. What do you think happens to a man's sense of reality if generally the women out there being passive, not saying what they want, expecting you to talk all the time and be honest about your convictions, but they can remain aloof, you having to read her signals, getting it wrong? What happens time after time where no matter how much you try honestly to read signals, what does it do to a man's sense of reality? I'd like to kind of hear your thoughts and any of your experiences, if this has actually affected you over time, and whether or not that's a reason why you or you see other men giving up and saying it's not worth it because my sense of reality is far better away from women than playing their games that they can't even read, and they can't even read their own signals, that drive them nuts. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Only about 16% of you who are subscribed to me have hit the bell icon. That's what my stats show. Otherwise, YouTube won't guarantee you to notify you next time I upload a video. So just make sure you subscribe properly. Select all in the drop down. Also, share my videos around on your social media as well. That helps me out too. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. Comment below the video. I'd like to hear your thoughts on today's topic. And if you feel like donating, there are links below. I'm really grateful to you guys who have donated this month. It means a lot. I'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye.